Say no to drugs and say yes to life. This is a very unfamiliar statement to a generation and an era that has normalized the use of drugs. With over 190 million drug users around the world under the age of 30, drug abuse has now become a menace that, if not carefully taken care of, will give the world a byproduct of dead dreams.
Some of the main reasons that are making the youth to use drugs are the availability of drugs. Drugs are so much available in the current environment that we are living in. The other reason probably is peer pressure. Mostly in our campuses, you find that most of the people are driven by peer pressures, and as a result, they find themselves also engaging in these things. Getting out of an addiction, that is alcoholic addiction mostly, the first thing that you have to do as a person is accepting the reality. Just accept that you are addicted. When you speak of alcoholic addiction, we say it is a chronic consumption of alcohol. That even when there are consequences in your life, you are unable to control yourself. So accept that it is a reality, you are addicted, and alcohol has overpowered you. So once you have accepted the reality, the next thing is to find or search for a more power person or a professional or someone who can be able to help you come out of addiction. Once you have found a professional or a counselor who can help you, submit your feelings to them, confess that there are feelings of meeting life and you need their support. Show humility so that they can be able to assist you. And once you have done that, now the counselor or the professional will take the responsibility of helping you to engage in other activities that are going to give positivity in your life. That is to replace whereby you have been finding yourself engaging, working with friends who are taking drugs. Now it will help you to find some people who can help you take that energy to a positive place that will help you not to find yourself in such kind of an environment. Then after doing that, make it a practice. We usually see that coming out of addiction is a lifelong process. So once you have done that, do not relax. That is to prevent you from probably finding yourself in the same environment. So find some people or some colleagues that you can be able to continue explaining your experience with, so that this thing can continue sticking in your mind. Having done that, I think it will be good for you to come out of addiction. Okay, what I can tell you is that be cautious. Entering into drugs is very easy, but coming out, it is possible but not as easy as you might think. So please be cautious. Do not refrain your positive mind to going to drugs. Yeah, that is what I can tell you. Avoid drugs, because once you get addictive, coming out of them it is a task to work for you.
Yes, I was into drugs, but the reason is because of the lifestyle that my fellow students were leading while they were using drugs was not pleasing, and no one could wish to have such a life. Furthermore, responsibilities were calling in the near future, so I had to be clean. Since I stopped using drugs, I can say that I'm living a more pleasing life, because laziness is out, idleness is out, and I'm focused in whatever brought me and whatever is it that I want to achieve in life. I can say it's my key ambition, and it's my key, one of the things that I've pressed forward. So I do so by making sure that anytime my friends are smoking drug, I keep myself out. I get out of the room or find something to do. Then I come back when they're done doing their things. Yes, currently I joined the basketball team in the university, and there I found friends who are in my situation too and reformed, and they are assisting me to keep safe and involved in activities that can keep me from my friends who are still in drugs, and that makes me to stay away from drugs. Secondly, we have an organization of like 10 boys where we interact daily to talk about the negativity in drugs and how we can keep out from the temptations.
Okay, have you found any support system that help you during your journey to recovery?
The support system I found is when the NACADA visited Moi University. They talked to us about the disadvantage of drugs. I heard the NACADA head who was one of the students in Moi too, and that motivated me and gave me a vision. What if one day also me I can be the head of NACADA and I was once using drugs? No one would like to go back to the situation he was in. So I avoid any attempt or anything that may lure me into drugs. Okay, drug addiction, I can say it's one of the difficult things to fight. But as long as you are geared into coming out of drug addiction, you can, because find something to do. Change company or limit your bad friends. You can limit them, change company, and form groups that talk things that will discourage you from getting involved in drugs. I would like to tell others too that drug addiction, as they say, it's not something that is so hard to beat. I did it, you can do it, and we can make others do it. So it's not good. Yes, you are there because it makes you feel like you have something that makes you enjoy and have fun. But after all, what you need is life is more important than the fun that you're having right now.
Using drugs, I started like 5 years ago. I guess I was still in high school.
You didn't join campus yet?
No. Then nikiwa high school. The experience for drugs, I guess ilianza by first experimenting ile puff.
Puff, that's like bit by bit.
Yeah, tukisonga tukiwa kwa sherehe hivi. Yeah, hapo ndio nilianza. Then ukisocialize na watu, the more una socialize na watu ndio unajua mambo ya drugs. Okay, first mimi hupenda kajaba hivi.
Kajaba, maybe for the viewers back at home.
Mira. Yeah. Then we have the cannabis sativa.
Bang.
Sasa tunaita ngwai. Ama kidogo. Kwa sherehe tunajua tukienda sherehe tunasema sherehe ni sheria. Na kwa sherehe lazima kuwe na mamizinga hivi. Unanielewa?
Nakupata.
Lazima alikuwa iko hapo. Academically, I can say it may change sana. Most of the time I miss a lot of classes. Si attend classes, maybe it's on ilikuwa Monday hivi tumeenda sherehe. Nenda kijani kurauka na narauka saa 5 saa 6. Class ilikuwa saa 3. I have tried, lakini mbogi naye bwana. Kienda tu na mbogi na kuambia wewe chapa moja, naambia mimi sitaki.
These are the friends that you started with.
Yeah. Ukipata hiyo chance mbona nianalishe. Okay, napenda naweza taka sana kuacha. Juu kuna vile inani affect, at least ni concentrate na studies, unaona?
Yeah.
Naweza taka sana kuacha.
And do your parents know on how you are with your addiction maybe?
They don't know. Okay. Naenda hustle hapa na pale. Naweza nipata huko kwa mtoshi. Masase wamenikamata huko, tumekimbizana nao mtaa. Nimelala sales sijui mara ngapi I think for past wanafaa tu wakuwe na rules zao. If you got caught, you'll be arrested. Haitamata hata kama ni student ama unafanya nini.
So you are saying that there is no like a legal framework on how to handle these things in the campus?
No.
Personally, living with a person taking the drugs is so difficult and it's so challenging, since when the person gets in the house, he's drugged, you find most of the time you don't agree on what you say, or there's abusive language, so you find yourself not in agreement with the person. That is the first maybe experience I've had with the person living with the drugs, and most of the time you find there's a low conversation with him. It has affected my academic performance, since when the person gets in the house with drug and maybe finds you are taking a revision, you won't concentrate on that revision because he'll become of more stories, talking up and down. So you find yourself not in that concentration of reading. So you find yourself being not in that mood of a person taking the drugs, or my friend or my roommate who take the drugs. I've seen many negative change. Since when the person takes the drugs, most of the time the first thing he won't dress as maybe a normal person, and another thing, maybe he is more of dirty. You find herself he don't have that time for taking the shower. So is that, and another example I can say, the negative, he won't concentrate on his academic, and that one will lead to poor academic performance. That is what I can say about the negative change on a person taking the drugs. I have talked to him, and the first step I have made in his life, maybe I have gone to the GNC and department in school, Moi University, and talked to the officers of the department on how to guide the person taking the drugs so that they can give me the skill and to tackle and advise him. Secondly, I have sat down and advised my roommate on the effects of taking the drugs. Firstly, the effects of taking the drugs, it leads to negative things. So that's what I have tried to talk to him so that he can stop, and for his safety or his future, if he will not take the drugs, it will maybe help him or her. So that's what I can say. I've made a step in his life so that he can change to avoid the drugs. Okay, since we made a conversation with him and talked to him, gave him advice, the boy, my roommate, has at least somehow made a positive change. And when he takes the drugs, he takes rarely. You find maybe once. And I know by time, as the time goes, the advice that I continue giving him, he'll reach a time and it stop taking the drugs. My advice that I can give to those who are taking drugs, it is first thing, when you take drugs, maybe it will lead to maybe poor academic, since when you are taking the drugs, you won't concentrate on your academics, you will concentrate much on the drugs. And the second thing you can say, maybe the drugs, it will lead to you will become addicted. So since most of the time you will be feeling of taking the drugs, so my advice is just to stop maybe taking the drugs to maybe to perform well and to become maybe a person in future to be targeted by your colleagues.
As the good book says, better the end of a matter than the beginning. With the end of our campaign marks the rise of a new hope for a generation and a society that is drug-free. As Tony Robbins will put it, the most impossible journey is the journey that you have not yet begun. To the youth listening to me, your future is key, so stay drug-free.